Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everyone. This will be our last live for the week. I'm live Sunday through Thursday. 8 p.m. Eastern until 10-ish. Just depends on what we're doing. So welcome. We are going to, at the community's request, or a few, work on hello Lori, a Southwestern themed 6-inch round. I don't have anything to sit on just yet. Hold on. So we will wait for a few people to get here. In the meantime, I will reach. I just had a big dinner. Woo. And I will start marking up our guide marks for tonight. Hello, Joanna. All right, where's that pencil? There we go. And what did I do with my pencil sharpener? There it is. As organized as I get, then I can't find something. That's how my life goes. Hello, Kara. Hello, hello. All right. So, how did that get on there? I didn't even paint it over here. Well, I did, but not in that color. All righty. Well, I am going to mark this up with our guide marks for tonight. This is a stencil with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Well, that didn't make sense. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 16 points. Hello, everybody. Yay! That's excellent news. Excellent news. I know that waiting for stuff like that is just nonsense. So I'm just going to go ahead and put our guide marks on here to start while we're waiting for everyone. That's great. I'm excited. Now, did you have plans, or were you going to try and paint with us, or did you already have plans for them? I can't remember. Hi, Nancy. How are you? Welcome, everybody. I am just marking up tonight's canvas, a 6-inch round piece of wood. Okay, cool. Very cool. So I did look on the Betsy the Betsy house holder thing. Doesn't really have any guide marks or, so while it is a fraction of the cost, just not sure. Thank you for the heart, me. Hi, how are you? I saw you were live earlier. I have been studying for my final. I have a final next week. And I thought I was in good shape, but I actually have. And then the office asked me if I would take care of a patient that's like 2 hours away. So next week, not only do I have a final and Frank's mom visiting, I have a full calendar of patients starting on Monday, and that one is like almost 2 hours away. So I was trying to get some stuff done today. So I have it on my phone so I can study basically wherever I'm at. But it's not like studying at home. Hello, OC Beach. How are you? Thank you, Judy, for the heart me. This is a pastel chalk pencil. There are other options. I've heard people are able to use like a watercolor pencil. Soapstone is another option. This is just, what, have I done all of them? What I've always used. So I think it's Generals. I don't know. Yeah, you're welcome. They're not all created equal, which is something else I have learned. Some chalk pencils work better than others, as a side note. Hello, Jen. Hello. Well, gang is starting to look like they are rolling in. What is that? Thank you for the TikToks. Let me get my tools ready. Thank you, Judy. The TikToks and the wink winks, that helps us reach our goal. Is that actually still up there? I haven't even changed our goal. And the overreact, that's my fave. I just need to change it to that. I'm so not, what's the word? Into or fluent in the ways of the TikTok. Yes, TikTok. I am not TikTok literate. Yes. All I know is I don't want any V's or R's or any of that nonsense. So, if you are new here, we will be using a set of tools that look similar to this. They're called dotting tools. Thank you for the heart me, Alina. Samantha. Cool. They look similar to this, but we're learning they aren't all the same in size. So that gives you like some creative freedom. So even though I say a certain size, it's really unlikely that you're going to get the same dot size I am. So you kind of learn how to wing it. I can't. I come to paint. I mean, there's certain parts of it that I would like to understand, because I do like creator stuff on my other page, and I just can't quite get it. Thank you for the follow, Junan. All right. Sorry, like I said, I pigged out before we came on. Okay, these are the colors I have picked. All right, so I'm going to shake them up as I put them in there. So this one is burnt sienna. And as always, I reserve the right to modify as needed during the live. So burnt sienna, and then next is going to be burnt orange. So we're going for a Southwestern theme. So I picked some reddy or orangey browny colors and then picked a couple of teal colors to add some accent in there. And this one is Warm Sunset, which I think is a really pretty color. But it is awfully close to that other one, so we'll see. Hi, Mimi. How are you? Thank you all for being here. We will paint momentarily after I kind of do our palette. So this is Peacock Teal. Again, another color I probably use. Oh, my goodness. More than any color. And hang on a minute, that is what live is for. Hang on. Let me clean this up first because that... All right, I think that's good. Let me get this up. That's what this is all about. So that will clean up after the live. Probably have to go get another paper towel though. Oops. So sometimes when your paint sits, you'll get some skin or drying of the paint inside your bottle, and that's exactly what happened when I went to squirt it out. Part of the skin, yeah. There's some dried up paint in there, came out and it clogged the holes, so happens. It's fine. Everything's fine. All right, this is Bahama Blue, and I know, yes, it doesn't quite reach the colors that we've been going for, but it is a lighter blue, and this is going to be the same problem. Hang on. Okay. There we go. And then I picked Rich Espresso as the metallic. Already. Somebody got filtered already? We just started. My gosh. Thank you for the follow. I don't know how to say that name. So a little bit of Rich Espresso. Okay, so if you are going to do this and, you know, say you love the palette. Well, you don't know yet, right? Because we haven't even painted with it. But if you don't write it down, it's kind of like in nursing. If it wasn't charted, it didn't happen. So, that being said, I always put color swatches in this book. And just to give you an example, I pretty much do every color palette in here so that I can go back to it if I really like it. Hey, hello. How are you, Mason? All right. So if I had water and all of that, I would usually use a paintbrush to do this, but I didn't bring water over with me. So I just take one of my tools and swatch it on here like that. And then it will be, you know, in this book for me to go back to if I need to. Often I'll just pause and I'll write the names next to it right now, but for the sake of the live, I won't do that. I'll do that after. So this will give you an idea like of how the colors are going to look next to each other. Ooh, that one, I do like that. Yeah, I do like that color very much. Yeah, good. I was telling them I'm studying for my final for this semester, and which is fine. It's just the final is next week, and I already had 3 patients scheduled, and then the office wanted me to see if I could do another one that's like almost 2 hours away. And then Frank's mom is visiting on Thursday through whatever day, Saturday, leaving Sunday, and I have to take this final by like Sunday night. So I should be prepared though. I have everything on my phone to study, so when I'm at the patients' houses, I can study. Thank you for the follow, Butterfly Kisses. Melissa, thank you for sharing the live. I appreciate that. All right, so that is our color palette. Does that say Southwest for you guys? It's perfect. Okay, let me go get another paper towel because I made a mess. So all righty. Perfect. Hi, Peppermint Patty. How are you? Welcome. All right. Welcome, everybody. If you are new here, you could say hi in the chat. Let's hold this up so that everybody can get. So we good? I think those top 3 have just enough variation. And then adding those blues in should help. Hi, Margaret. How are you? Welcome. All right. So some of you are tuning in after I've already kind of got started, but I already put guide marks on the wood round. These are wood rounds. They're relatively inexpensive. This is 6-inch. It was painted with this particular paint. It is acrylic. Make note of that because that is the only thing I use that's not this. Believe it or not, there is a difference between the two and how this multi-surface reacts and takes chalk marks and everything, guide marks. Thank you. Yeah, I think so too. Again, I tell you, I have quite a collection of paint. Some are a little bit old though. Okay, so we will use acrylic rods throughout this live, as well as the traditional dotting tools. Okay, there are other dotting tools, but these are pretty much easily found. Oh, I had a question. Those of you that have accessed the supply list for beginners, have you purchased anything? I had a question and I didn't really know how to answer it. Hi, small town daughter. Have you actually purchased directly from that? Hi. I am loving this paint as a base. Yes. It's night and day. So yeah, if you have, I was just, like I said, you have, okay. Okay. That's good to know, Jen. The person asked me if and I did not. So that's good to know because I wasn't sure. A long time ago, I was like an associate or whatever term they want to call it. And I think that since went away. Yeah, I think it's been so long that has disappeared. But I was just curious. So, but yeah, but that's good to know because now you and I both know the answers. No. um, and it doesn't matter to me. I just wanted to find out if, anybody had actually used or done it. So, but anyways, all right, we got that answered. Very good. Okay, so let's start off. What do we want to start with? I actually think I'm going to start with the metallic as the center dot. I think for right now, we can come down here a little bit. How's that? That looks good for everybody. All righty. So for the sake of the live, I'm going to end the recording. Oh, the live from last night is not up. Oh, and before I continue, if you care, I did finish this up. Okay. Thank you for the heart me. So I did top dot as I planned on with the pearl. And then I did finish up going around and outlining that as like a, I don't know, snowflake-ish thing. But so that I did. Came out pretty, right? I think so. I think it really made a difference top dotting. Actually, it's an offset top dot, but still. And I chose not to, thank you for the heart me, chose not to put anything there. So, very pretty. Okay. So with our center dots or any of the bigger dots when you're using the rods, you want a good amount of paint. And this sometimes is hard for me with these tools and my astigmatism. But I think that's center. It's a little off center, but I can fix that. So I'm going to get a little bit more paint and I'm going to hover over and tap and make it a little bit bigger. There we go. Thank you for the Go Pops, Judy. Are you feeling better about your event this weekend now that you have? I'm just going to actually kind of pull a little paint right here. It's kind of flat, I feel like. There we go. And yes, the goal is that center has a nice dome to it. Thank you for the follow, Earth Haven. Hi, Cecilia. Thank you for the follow. Okay. And we begin. So there are people that sometimes paint along, but the live is fully uploaded. Thank you for the heart me, Miss Logic. And I do tell them the sizes that I'm using. So that way when they watch it to paint at another time, they are all set. So I'm going to use the first color. I have not, there's nothing planned. Anytime I go live, sometimes we have an idea of what we're going to do, but not usually. Sometimes. Very rare. So with this first row, I'm using the small end of the yellow tool. The goal is that the dots stay about the same size. They do not touch the dot before it or the center dot. So the goal is that they are close but not touching. Believe it or not, that can be a difficult thing to do. I am painting a good distance away from my face, so I ask you don't expect perfection. Normally I would be painting with my face much closer to what I'm painting. But this is how I traditionally start all of my rounds. Small, big, maybe not such a big center dot, but that's the beauty of doing dot art. You can do whatever you want, however you want, whenever you want. And I always point this out too. This color palette that we're using, you do the exact same pattern that we do tonight with a different color palette. It'll look totally different. And sometimes I pull out like a previous piece just to prove my point, which we may do. Sometimes I need inspiration. But every time I put a dot down, I dip back in the paint. All right, and about here is where I pause, because now I've got to see. So I'm going to put 2 dots here, because there we go. There we go. That bronze is rich espresso, isn't it? Francis, why are you tagging? Thank you for the follow, talking my opinion. No, he can probably be muted if he's going to do that kind of stuff. That's something that is like a bot behavior. So, hi, Margaret. I am so patient. Listen, this is one thing in my life where I am like not type A. I just go with it. Yeah, I know. Oh, yes, thank you. Worldwide eyes on you. A dot at the the first ones I just actually circle the center dot. When we get closer into here where there's actual lines, I will be a little more focused on where they. No, you did not. It's fine. I had to read it out loud because I'm like, wait. Hi, Angie. How are you? Thank you for the follow and the rose. But yes, I'm a nurse and a nurse practitioner student. So I do have a level of patience. But when it comes to painting, I navigate away from my type A personality. Yeah, no, you're fine. Well, I'm glad you guys found us. I am glad you found us. So I'm just taking the second color. For those of you, like I said, that are painting along, I'm actually going to see what happens if I just follow the paints along using the large end of the yellow. I am using a Lazy Susan. I'm just going to see if that helps at all tonight. So same thing, I just find a spot and I start. The dots are going to be a little bigger. Same concept though, you go around. Goal is that your dots are the same size, same distance apart. If you're painting and you notice your dots are getting bigger, you might have to wipe off the end of your tool. I will point this out. These wood rounds, because they are cheap, often your paint will get stuck in the wood grain. So I suggest a decent coat of paint. $10:29 in the morning. Oh, Friday, so a whole day ahead of us. So yeah, so dot. And then if they start to get too big, you need to remember to wipe off your tool. I know Tasha will not, I don't think she'll be here tonight. She's celebrating her hubby's birthday. Okay. So see what's happening there? Those two decided they were going to kiss. We're going to take care of that. So to fix mistakes, you need a Q-tip, you wet it, and you hold your breath, and then you rotate the Q-tip towards you slowly. Now, it doesn't have to be perfect, because you're going to put paint back down there. Okay? Holy, kissing dots. Kissing dots. Ah, that's a new one, a Bravo. Very cool. So yeah, try not to, but some paint ends up a little thinner and it can kind of throw you off. Or, like I said, the wood grain will drag them towards each other. When you have spend more money on the wood rounds, that doesn't happen. Like, you get a better product. But for the sake of practicing, these are fine. So I am actually going to wipe off my tool because I feel like the dots are getting bigger. There we go. All right, and again, I pause because the circle is coming to an end. So what I do is I go 1, 2. I know I can't get more than 2 in there. And then I can make those bigger. Okay? It's hard if you go in. Thank you, Miss Logic, for the wink winks and the tick-tocks and the snail. Slow-mo. That's a cool one, too. Let's see. Can you seal it first, then draw the line? You could. The problem with sealing it is it would depend on what you seal it with. Because you might not be able to erase the guide marks. We know that the guide marks will come off using this paint. You're welcome. Watercolor. This is chalk pencil. You could use there are people that use watercolor pencils to do these lines, as well as soapstone. So you could do that. Would I use a watercolor pencil? Okay. Can you see it? I think, in my opinion, after doing this on these for so long, if you put a thicker coat of the base on there, it would be better. Let me see if I can show you the wood grain. You see how the wood grain, like you can literally see the wood grain. Now let me get another piece that's a better piece of wood. So I only use these for practice. So let's see. I mean, there is wood grain on this. Well, actually, that's my brush strokes. So this is the back of this piece of wood. So see how much smoother it is? Let me show you the other piece. This is the back of this one. Like it's like total, the quality. So some people will sand those. I use these to practice on. So for me, that's, talking my, you mean, oh no, it's put on with, acrylic. Yes, acrylic. They're put on with a stencil. Just a stencil. Now, you don't need the stencil. You could use a compass and a ruler. But for newbies, beginners, I feel like the stencil makes life easier. Unless you're really good with a compass, and I am not, even though should be. Thank you for the follow, Deborah. Yeah, so yeah, I actually go directly usually to this place, or you can use any craft paint. So let's put that out there. You can use any craft paint, acrylic craft paint, okay? What I suggest to beginners is that whatever brand you have available to you is what you should use. And what I mean by that is when you're practicing, you got to get used to the consistency of the paint that you are using. So not everybody has this available to them. Okay? So that's why I say whatever craft paint it is, some are thicker, some are thinner. You know? It is peppermint patty. I forgot. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have a rather large one for when I do these big pieces. When I do these. As a matter of fact, this is one that I started this winter. And it's unfinished, the very edge of it. So these in here are brush strokes. That's more of an advanced. But all of this up to here, all of this is just using the dotting tools. But I do have to get on that. Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah, I think you could be perfectly fine with both of those. And again, whatever's available that you can just grab and go. Now, normally, guys, I teach you guys how to make a custom palette. We're not doing that tonight because I had all these colors, and it would be kind of hard to do a custom Southwestern palette. But when I say custom palette, like we will take a color, for instance, this one, and we'll take a primary color, and then it's also in smaller amounts throughout, and then we fill it up a little bit more with the white. So you end up with this ombre effect. So you really are only buying one color paint and the white, and you get 5 colors. So that's an inexpensive way to play around with colors. And, you know, you don't know if you're going to like it. So, are you an artist or an avid painter? How do I choose my... You know, honestly, talking my opinion. The community here usually picks. Towards the end of the live, sometimes I'll be like, I'm doing what I want to do, but normally I ask the community if they want to work on like smaller practice pieces for ornaments. If they want to, I open it up to the community. And last night the vote was for, there was 2 votes, pink, which we had just done on an ornament, and Southwest. So, and I am not an avid artist. I am an avid crafter. So I've done a little bit of every craft you could probably think of. And this is the only art form that I have stuck with longer than anything and taken lessons and stuff like that. So thank you for all the likes, guys, too. I appreciate it. Great questions. Yeah. So, you know, and I'm also an avid outdoors person. So we fish and do all those things too, which, like they were saying, we paint on rocks too. So when I first started, we were painting on rocks because I knew this is, you know, just dots of paint. But I call these love stones. They're loosely heart-shaped. This is actually a pretty good one. But this is how we started because I knew we could finish this during a live, a couple hours. But we've got some people that have been here with us for quite a while. So we're graduating. Yes, feathers, that would be cool. I've not seen them dot painted. Interesting. The light looks really good tonight, guys. Can we recreate this tomorrow night? Oh, no, not tomorrow, Sunday. So I'm live Sunday through Thursday, 8 p.m. Eastern till whatever, 10, 10:30, sometimes closer to 11. It just depends. But the light looks fantastic tonight. I don't know. Oh. It's crazy, right, Jen? I didn't do anything different. I didn't do anything different. I don't know. That's cool. Big black cockatoo feathers. Huh. You'll have to keep us updated on that. I'd like to know if they seal them or they just paint on them. What a fantastic idea. Very good. Okay. All right. So we will keep going. If any of you have a question, please ask in the chat. Before I forget, there's quite a few of you here. If you have a question about like a certain item or whatever, you're welcome to ask them in the chat. If you want a supply list or if you want access or help getting to the downloaded full live to practice at a later time, down in the bottom left-hand corner is an orange box with a white arrow. You can send me a message there. It may say something about an email. I don't have to have an email. I can message you right here. But that's the best way to get that stuff. Yeah, that would be, yeah. I'm super excited to hear more about that. Yeah. Yeah, you'd have to seal them, but cool, yeah. Very cool. Okay, for those of you, Tasha is supposed to be with her hubby, but she can't handle it. Hi, Lulu. 300 minutes already? Thank you for the heart, me, Lulu. Okay. I'm going to go one more row, and I'm going to, let's go up. let's do something a little different. I'm going to go in between, and it'll make sense. So I'm going to go in between each dot set from before. Okay? And I do recommend that when you're painting, you have your piece centered towards your abdomen. Because of the way I'm painting, sometimes that doesn't work. Okay, so speaking of that, let me erase that last one I did because it's a little off. So wet the Q-tip and rotate it towards you. So you'll need Q-tips is what I'm getting at. I know. You have some of them. Okay, so this way when you put your dot down, you know you're centered, as opposed to, trying to do it when it's off-centered. And like I said, it's a little difficult for me to paint because I am quite a distance from my piece. And I'll show you, I know there's spaces there, but I'm going to show you one little trick we use to hide those. So in here, they got a little close. That's all right. Everything's all right. It'll be fine. I might actually get rid of those first two because they're a little large. And they're actually working out pretty good. Yeah, so let's get rid of those first couple. And then, so these two are a little bit far apart and big for me. So we're going to normally you're going to want to do this when you first put them down, but because it's a small piece, it should come up okay. And again, you're going to paint over that again anyways. So it's okay. What I teach in this class, and I say teach, I'm not a teacher. I'm not. What I show you guys to do is to give yourself some grace. Okay? When you're painting, I want you to enjoy yourself. All right, I think that'll be good. Well, where'd it go? There it is. Show and tell. What? Yes, Judy, thank you for that reminder. Thank you for becoming part of the fan club. Wait, what? You're addicted to what? I know, we all are. Oh my God, that's so awesome. I've been thinking of asking my grandkids have a printer. That is so cool. I thought it was his birthday though, not yours. Don't forget, yes. You guys are doing so good. Judy, thank you so much for hyping up the room and getting us new friends. Yes. Okay, so that now we can not hold our breath anymore. So you can see what happened. I can, but it'll disappear. So some of these dots are closer and some of them are further away. As I get out into here, and this is where a compass comes in handy. So when you do extra guide mark, the horizontal guide marks, you are able to keep everything. And I really should bring one out one time. I gave my granddaughter mine, my small one, but it gives you more lines so you don't get off. Like there's no way on this piece that I could have done this without guide marks. Like they're where they need to be. So, but again, this is a practice piece. Tap, tap, tap. Yes, you are new friends. I love it. I love it. Okay. From another continent. Okay, so let's see. Do we need inspiration? Let's see. Let's look at what we've got in our little stack here. So, for example, these are two patterns that are used frequently. Most mandala style dot art, and I'm going to say mandala style dot art because mandala is its own art form. It's traditional, and I don't ever want to offend anybody. So I do call it mandala style or dot art. But it is based off of a mandala. Most mandalas have a flower lotus pattern as their focus. So as we get into bigger pieces, you can do that much easier with brushes. So these two patterns are pretty common. But if you look, this is the same pattern as this, just different colors and different sizes. So, and then this is the same thing, walking dots, but in a different color. This was a fun one. So this is some walking dots with some swooshes. I think let's do this one. I like this one. So we'll do this one. So I'll come out one more row and I'll keep that out for inspiration. Yeah, walking dots. They are actually they are pretty fun. Swooshes tend to get people a little anxiety ridden, but anyways, so we're going to use this as inspiration. So in this case, I'm going to come out one more row with a larger dotting tool, and then we'll come in and start placing the dots for our next section. So let's do the lighter blue. Thank you for the follow, Chloe. Okay. Oh, so yeah, well, it's a little early to say that, but next Tuesday I will not be live. I should be live Sunday and Monday and Wednesday. I don't know about Thursday because that's the night his mom's supposed to arrive. So that being said, I'm not going to promise. All right, let me see. I don't know if it's going to be green. So we'll come and I'm going to try and do the same concept where I'm doing in between so that I can clean that up. And I am going to try and focus on the distance from the dot to the line here now, just to see if we can get things a little bit more tucked in. But as I said, a lot of that imperfection, you're the only one who's going to know. By the time you're done and everything is on this, nobody's going to notice that that space is too wide. Nobody's going to notice that but you. Okay? And if you want, you could, make the dots a little bigger, but I think we're good. So the goal is, like I said, that these are a little bigger. We'll do micro dots in between them to hide some of that spacing error. I don't want you to kiss, though. This can be, that in between can be difficult. It is very difficult for me. Normally, I don't even try. I just keep going around in the circle. But I try. We try different things. I try to show you guys how you can challenge yourselves. I forget that I have this lazy Susan under me, and I keep turning the piece. Sunday, will you? Yes. Hi, Lenny. How are you? Welcome. Yeah. So usually the 6-inch rounds we do not finish in a live. I can usually get the centerpiece done. Might be able to get to part of the if there's a break or whatever, but yeah, so I'll finish this one on Sunday. Exactly. That's how that works. Yep. The only time we don't do that is if there's a special request. What I mean by that is sometimes we have viewers that can only be here on certain days. So I try to, thank you for the follow. So I try to, if I can, accommodate them so that, but again, so that was kind of, I can actually send myself stuff. Well, that's weird. I just noticed my mouse was hovering over something, and I'm like, well, that would be weird. But since we started making the full live available, it's been a lot easier for people. So just letting that last row dry a little bit. Like I said, like Tasha said, we do like to watch paint dry in this live. But yeah, the lighting is like spot on tonight. I love this color palette. I think I like it. Thank you for sharing the live too. I appreciate that. All of those lovely things help. Oh, it's going to, oh, cool. She's going to love it, Judy. She's going to love it. All right, so in this scenario, I'm going to wait to do the micro dots until that last part dries a little bit. And I think to keep kind of things in theme, I'm actually going to do the next dots with the metallic, so it kind of matches and draws from that. I don't know if that's the size though. Let me. So this is what these guide marks are good for. So now these next dots, I don't know if this might not be big enough, but what I can do is I can actually come up or right on that guide mark to make sure that we are lined up. Yeah, I think I'm going to put them right here. But like I said, I am using the metallic. And we're doing the same thing. Got to remember, you need enough paint. And you don't push. And I do have to do these sideways because of my astigmatism. You don't push. If you push, you're going to get this weird ripple. And you don't want that. Okay, you want these nice little domed. Woohoo! Thank you for the follow. Cocktail de Pinturas. I know. And the colors are, I don't know. I just reached under there. I'm like, oh, that looks good. Oh, that looks good. Oh, thank you, Lenny. Oh, that was from Judy. Lenny's usually the dolphin giver. Throwing me off like that. Thank you. So, yeah. Thank you for the TikToks. So I'm doing every other guide mark. And again, doing my best to kind of even this out where we were a little wonky with space. But once I start doing the walking dots, that will, you won't notice it. And again, I always say I'm practicing, so there's always room for getting better. If you ever become perfect doing this art form, I would like to know, because it is an ever-evolving part of my life. What was that? I know there's nothing on the porch, but it sounded like something was outside. It does, but hello, BG. It does, but I don't know that you could ever be perfect doing this. This is not one of those art forms that I feel like there's always room like to learn a new pattern. And gosh, I have paint everywhere already. Look. Like that brush. What brush? Hello, Deborah. Hello, Rosie. I'm just seeing people scrolling on through. Okay, so I'm going to use, and again, I know those of you that are painting or will be painting, I'm using the teal color here, so the fourth color. So let's see. Now, this is a part where I do kind of have to figure out what I'm going to do. So I'm going to see if the dots will be big enough with the small end of the white. And basically a walking dot is you put a dot and you go around. So this is one time where you're not dipping in each time. Okay. I don't count either. Tasha does for me. She is using ballpoint dotting tools, no brush. Oh, this is a rod. Yeah, this is an acrylic rod. That's a good point, Jen. So those of you that are tuning in now, these that I just made those dots with and that center dot, these are acrylic rods. Typically they come in a set like this. Okay. Now, there are other sets out there, but this one does come with several that I use frequently. Like, I don't use this one very much. I do use this one from time to time. On a big piece, I might use this one. But, so yeah, so this is a rod for dotting. And then the smaller tools for most of the dots are this set. So on this particular set, we're learning that not all of these sets are the same. I thought they were, but they're not. On this side, on my tools, these are all about the same size point. But on this side, they vary from tiny to bigger. These I use the most of. And then I do use paintbrushes too. Did that help? You're right. You can let your imagination fly. You can let your imagination go, because like we're using this color palette, but this is what I did with that same pattern, but different colors, totally different look, which is what I really love about this art form. Okay, so back to walking dots. Yeah, I hope that helps. If you have any, just keep asking questions though. We will get them answered if that wasn't what you needed. Thank you guys. So I do not count these, but my goal is that they're evenly spaced, about the same size, and go around. Now the next row will look a little different, and we'll go over that too when we get there. And you don't count the dots? I don't. Again, this is part of my life, because you're tuning in a little after my introduction, although I didn't really do one today, but I'm Victoria. I am a registered nurse, and I'm also a nurse practitioner student. So when I paint, I think, but I don't think, if that makes sense. Like I kind of go with the flow. I don't have a predetermined anything. You will find that too when you're doing your walking dots, that there is some muscle memory to it. And that's why a lot of people enjoy it. You could count them if you want. I just choose to just go around. Now, that being said, you want them to be fairly symmetrical. Hi, Belinda. Welcome. Hello, Judy. So, yeah. In this case, my goal is just to be symmetrical, get them around. Now, those two dots went down into the wood grain and they ovaled out, which is annoying. But so after I do this, I think I'll just talk real quick about one of the things that I do recommend for beginners. And it may sound silly to be like, why would she recommend that? But I do, because I find that it might be a little more cost effective for people to practice with. So I'm going to set that aside for a second. So I recommend that you guys you can buy the wood rounds, and I use the word relatively inexpensive loosely, because again, I'm a student and I'm broke. So I'm using paint from 3 years ago. Thank you for sharing the live Spinnaker Bay. But I suggest you getting some black paper. I know Judy bought just the paper, punched holes in it and is putting it in a 3-ring binder, which I think is a fantastic idea because you can practice on it, let it dry, and put it in where you want to put it. But I got to be careful. I put our color palettes in here, or my color palettes. We practice sometimes in here, like I was showing them brush strokes. I got to just remember that. But you can trace your stencil out and do a practice right here on this paper. Okay. Now, this is 110 pound, like the weight, it's a heavy weight. I don't know that you need 110 pound, but if it's too light, it'll kind of warp and ripple. But that's a good canvas to practice on, because it's very forgiving. Like when you put a dot down on the paper, it's not going to spread. You're not going to have the wood giving, wood grain and all of that. Yeah, I think that was, I'm just type A. So when I bought that, that's what I bought. I'm like, oh, this is great. But now looking back, like, I can't really go through it because what I painted on there was wet. But in the binder, you can leave that page out or those pages out until they dry and then go and put them away. So I think that's a fantastic idea. Okay, so moving on. I think I'm going to actually, let's see, is that size? I think I'm going to use the large end of the white tool. And I'm actually going to use this second color. And I know you guys that are painting along later are not going to know. Yeah, I think that's a fantastic idea. Okay, with these, I'm actually going to exaggerate a little bit. Normally I would come lower, but I'm going to actually come to this guide mark and try and line things up. Okay? So we're going to put a dot right here. Okay? And then we're going to do a triangle. So one's going to go here and one's going to go here. Okay? And I know it's off of that guide mark. I know that. Don't. And then I'm going to walk the dots. Okay? That gives us that little petal tip. Okay? I know. Hi, Sandra. I know. I think it's one of my faves in a while. Actually, we've done some really cool color palettes. I shouldn't say that, but this is fun. I do like this one. So again, coming up to the line, dot, dot, so triangle. You don't have to do it this way. I might have to go down in tool size. Hang on. There's a lot of paint. So I might just go down. Let's see. So I'm switching to the small end of the white tool. Yeah, we're going to do that. Those were just coming off a little too big. Very Southwestern. And that was the goal, Rhonda. That was the request. So I did good. I'm so glad. I'm never really sure, just kind of like the whole snowflake thing, how things are ever going to turn out, but I went ahead and I dug down in there and I'm like, these colors are nice. Okay. Oh my God, Lulu. It wasn't a snowflake, it turned into a flower. Oh my gosh. Turned into a flower. And then I tried it again. That was not, it's not my thing. Did Tasha already leave? I wonder what shapes her hubby made. It was cute. I'm not gonna, I agree. Just didn't come out the way I thought it would be on the stone either. Okay, so again, I know that some of these are a little further away, but I'm still using that guide mark because it will put us in a good spot for the rest of the piece now. Now you don't need the Lazy Susan. I actually forgot I had it, and I only recently brought it out when I was doing the ornaments. So I haven't, and when I do bigger pieces, I don't use it because look at, it's wobbly. Most of them are, they're not. But it's nice to kind of like, it's like a fidget thing. Hi, Cece. Welcome. It's pretty. Okay, I'm going to wipe my tool off. Getting too much paint on there now. So last night's live is not uploaded, and I'm sorry about that. It takes forever for it to download in full. I don't know if it's because of that came out a little too big. Sorry. I mean, we have fiber optic Wi-Fi, so I don't know. Oh, it would be. I have made belt buckles. And then you seal them with resin. At least that's what I did. I don't know what other people do. Thank you for the dolphin, Lenny. All right, I'm going to run and grab a bottle of water. Be right back. Again, small place. I can get right back. Cece. Wait, I don't know if everybody that was here last night, I did update the ornament. So I did go ahead and go over and did the offset with the pearl. I'm not going to top dot the center. I like the way the center looks, so I'm going to leave that alone. And then I went around and just outlined that. So, yeah, that made all the difference. Just, I'm not really sure why I feel like the colors, like the walking dots they don't show up so well. But it's fine. Everything's fine. But it came out nice. So I just wanted to show that again for anybody who's coming in later. Okay, so now we're going to do swooshes. So those of you that are new here, this is a beginner technique, but it has some learning curve to it. So we're going to use, those of you that are going to painting later, this is the third color. And then those are pretty big. So let's do, let me see. I'm gonna start with the large end of the blue. I'm not sold that that's gonna be what we're doing. So we're gonna come up here. Okay. And then we're gonna put our next dot here. And we're gonna push slowly around. Okay? If you don't get all the way around, it's fine. Just push a little bit more with the smaller end of the tool. Okay? Yeah, I mean, slow and steady wins the race, yes. I don't know if I'm going to or not. I asked Judy that because she's done them before. She says she has. But I don't know. Again, this is I painted those ornaments I showed you 4 years ago, and I haven't painted any since. And these are the first ones I've painted, like, with, guide marks and everything. Like, I didn't do all this before. That was the first one I did with guide marks. These are the ones I did before I knew anything. So they're just dots. So that being said, I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh, that's a good idea, Judy. And sign that. Yeah, that's a good idea. And then, I don't know. I'm always like, it's really hard for me to do the exact same thing twice. Oh, I'm on the wrong. No wonder I can't get the right size. Got the wrong size of the tool. Wrong side of the tool. So this is one of those things where you're going to take your time. You can't rush it. You got to just push your paint around. And there you go. Am I on screen? Yeah, I guess so. Okay, good. Same thing. Dot up here. Dot here. And then you just push around. Yeah, this is Warm Sunset. Yes, I think this is one of the newer colors that I bought, actually. I don't know. I have so much paint, it's not even funny. I'm like you, Judy, but not. You have way more than me. So I'm going to fix this one. This one needs to come around a little bit more. There we go. So just taking your time, because the longer you take or the slower you go, more paint comes off the tool. And it'll get you around. And you don't want to push too hard. If you push too hard on the wood, you'll get a divot. You'll get a groove in your wood. And then you'll notice that. Hang on a minute. That needs a little more. There we go. You get a little divot and you'll see it. $3 to collect it. So my thing touched there. I'll worry about that later. I can always just take a little dot of paint and put it over there. So how was everybody's weather? Did everybody's weather chill out? Like I said, we had quite a few days of flash flooding here. Nothing really too dramatic up our way. Although I was walking back from the next door and a branch fell down right on the path, right before I got to where I was going. Right in front of me. That was kind of, I'm like, oh God. Glad I wasn't in a rush. It would have hit me in the head. Oh, you're in Nicaragua. Ooh, 85 and steamy, I'm sure. It's Florida, no kidding. Yeah, 97. God, 97 in Colorado. Wow. Is it humid then too? When it's 97? Like I said, I've only been out west in the fall and winter. So I'm not a... I shouldn't say that, because I was out in Idaho in May. Oh, okay. It's so interesting, right? Everybody had such extreme weather for a while, and then now it's like chilling out till I don't know when, but yeah. Yeah, like I said, it's rained here on and off. Nothing terrible. Except that one night. That one night was a little rough. Oh, the Ohio State Fair, yeah. There's quite a few fairs going on. My friend went and saw Bailey Zimmerman, he had a concert at the fair down in Delaware State Fair, and they lost power. But she said he played some acoustic and signed a bunch of autographs and did stuff like that. Try and make the best of what they had been dealt. She didn't say it was storming, but she just said they lost power. I'll tell you what, though. We've had days or times where we haven't had power here for 3 days for no reason. So it's we haven't had that in a few years. I think they repaired whatever it was that was the problem, finally. I mean, you know how they do that. They, nobody wants to pay to fix anything. Yeah, it was. Yeah, she said she liked him before, but she said that, that really kind of, I don't know, what else is he going to do? It's not raining, so it's not like he's in any danger or anything. So I guess he just is like, well, let me show off some talent. So that's what he did. And so, yeah, she said that she said when he was singing, it was good. We have a mutual friend that works for like a beer and wine or some sort of like alcohol distributor or whatever. Irrelevant, but they get like free tickets to a lot of different things, and that was what she got. She got those. So that was kind of cool. I'm sure it's because it's the Delaware State Fair. I'm in Central Florida. Central Florida is so rough, peppermint patty, though. You don't have any breeze in there. Ugh. That is, so, I'm a Florida resident. I'm from the Southeast Coast. And you guys in Central Florida you just cook sometimes. You call those feathers? Swooshes. It's really, most mandala is based on a flower shape. So it's like a lotus flower. You might have to look it up to know what I'm talking about, but a lotus flower kind of is like a bulb and then it fans out. So like in this case, there are like it'll fan out. And then these are obviously bigger, but it's a lotus flower. Flower petals. Swoosh. Yes, I do call those swooshes though. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, that's, yeah. Squishy. Swoosh. Yep, swoosh. Okay. Yeah, thank you all you are tapping it out tonight. Okay. Let's see what we got going on. So in that particular one, we did walking dots. And then we went ahead and our outer row, gosh, we're going to finish early. So we did walking dots on the edge, and then we did just a bloom in the middle. But what colors do I want to use? I think I'm going to use the blue again. And then I'll do the metallic as the walking dots. Hold on, I got to think here. We're going to use the blue again. Do I want to use the blue this way? Yeah. I'm going to use the light blue for the swoosh down the middle. Now I've got to figure out what size we're going to use. They do, yes. They do. So I'm not sure, but I'm gonna try. This might be too big. So keeping them lined up. That went off to the side. Hang on. So you can kind of fix it a little bit. You just have to do it right away. You can't wait and come back and do it. I really don't know if that's the right size. Let me drop down a size. So in my opinion, it's easier to go add more paint. So I'm switching back to the large end of the white. But I'm trying to keep it lined up in between so that things line up. Yeah, that's better. And then I'm going to switch it to kind of come down like that. I am not a teacher, Kara. We're going to call this a live demonstration. But thank you. I enjoy what I do, so I think that's probably why it shows. So the only drawback to a smaller piece is that these swooshes aren't necessarily dry, and you risk them bleeding in like that, because there's orange in that right now. Teacher. I'm not a teacher. I am just someone who loves to do this artwork. But they say, they call me the teacher, and I'm not. Yeah, and I appreciate you guys so much. I do appreciate that. I can't, I say this all the time, like I would like to be more proficient and teach and do, but I just, my profession is nursing and healthcare. I've invested a lot of time into that. So that is, and I have a passion there too. Especially when it comes to women's health. That's where I really want to find myself when I graduate. Hi, Penny. Hello. How are you? Why are you taking yourself? So just taking my time, not because I'm want to, but because I have to. Swooshes should not, you don't want to, I can't rush them. Somebody else may be able to, but I cannot. These are, even though this is a beginner painting technique, these took me a long time to figure out. Gosh, it's so pretty. The colors are so pretty. Love it. I think I might have to do a large mandala with this. I have 12-inch wood rounds in my cart. I just have to wait until appropriate time to craft. Oh, they'll overreact to me. I'm telling you, it's a beginner skill, and it's like, I'm like, why can't I figure this out? Oh, it's terrible. Mine still don't always come out right. So that's another thing. I should probably point that out to you guys that are new here. So if you do try and do any of this painting, you're going to find that when you do one side, it's going to be like nothing. Then you try and do the other side, and you're going to be like, why is it all wonky? So like when I do brush strokes, I have to like position my body in these weird ways. I don't know if it's because I broke my wrist as a kid or if I'm just weird. I don't know. But, oh, I love this color palette. Yes. But there is a lot of muscle memory to it. I feel like just a lot of muscle memory. Yeah, I mean, and the lighting tonight is like perfect. Like, Hi, Norma. Thank you for joining. It's weird. I don't know. I didn't do anything different with the light, but all of a sudden everything is normal again. I don't know. I need to probably like mark the setting or something. Yeah, see that's just again, that's another reason like the paper is good for that, because you can just sit there and just do rows and rows which kind of gets boring, but you know, getting it on that paper and finding where your hand belongs, that really helps. Yeah, this is do you want the colors so that you have it, so that you don't have to worry about? Here are the browns and oranges. I mean, they're going to be in the live, but so burnt sienna, burnt orange, warm sunset. Burnt sienna, burnt orange, warm sunset. No, but tiger lily would have been pretty, and I thought about that, but I changed my mind. And then the blues are peacock teal and Bahama blue. And then rich espresso. Okay, so then those of you that will do that palette and this painting later, won't have to watch the live to find out what colors they are. Okay, now, where's the driest one? So this is what you need to do now, is you need to find your driest swoosh. Looks like this one. Because if you come in and oh no, maybe it's this one. If you come in and they're wet and you touch, they're going to smear. I don't know what color to use. Excuse me. I do not know what color I want to use. So we use that there. Let's just use the brown. So I'm going to use this one, guys. The first one. It's, well, I'm going to do walking dots on the edge with the metallic, but it's rich espresso. Yeah, I'm going to do dots right along the edge here. So let's see. This is the large end of the white, and I'm actually going to just so it's kind of going in between. So it's coming up to the top. And just coming down like that. And then for visual, because I know that might be something that I'm just taking the small end of the white, and walking dots go right down like that. Yeah. That's one of my favorites, and obviously this is another one. I love zinc. I mean, I like glorious gold too, but there's that rich espresso, there's just something about it. All right, so this is what I mean by when you're doing the opposite side. Like that one went on fine. Now you have to like kind of, like I have to find my spot. So right about here, same thing. You're just going to push the paint ever so slightly down. Okay, and I'll do the walking dots, but I just wanted to do that so that that visual was there. That everything's a little wet, so. Okay, so in here, and remember what I told you, if things get too big, like that, you need to wipe off your tool. Okay. So because of that, let me try the small end of the white to see if that's a little easier to get down there. Oh, that's got a lot of paint on it. Hang on. There we go. I'm going to use the small end. So lining it up and just pushing it down. Because I want that to be like relatively thin in there. I don't want it to cover the blue, if that makes sense. Sometimes I don't mind that. Sometimes I like that look where everything kind of comes to a point. But I want it to just, I like the blue to be like that. What colors are you using? It is rich espresso, the metallic rich espresso. Rich espresso. Alrighty, moving along. So, do this. So remember, if you want more paint, you go slower. If you want less paint, you go faster. So you know, I want less paint to travel into that crevice. So up here, it's, well, now stop. Up here, it's okay to have more, right? Because I would like that. But then when I get to a certain point, I want less, so I'm going to move faster. Here, let me hold it up. It's kind of gold, but it has that like undertone of brown. It definitely has a lot of shift to it for one of the metallics. You see that? It just shifts a lot. I think that's why a lot of us, well, I know that's why I like it, because it almost looks rose gold in some ways, and then sometimes it looks brown, but then it has that gold to it too. So yeah, it's one of my faves to use. So yeah, you tap, 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 and then you move kind of fast. That one didn't come out quite right. Let's try that. There we go. So Got to be careful though when you do extra paint though. Package. Something's coming in the mail. Okay. Okay, and then just push and move. I know you guys are like, wow, you make it look so easy. It's not. It's not. I make mistakes and I hold my breath sometimes because, I mean, I want it to do what I want it to do, but it doesn't always do what I want it to do. So, there's that. So does anybody have anything? Are you going to the fair, Jen, this weekend? I know sometimes the state fairs are so busy when they first open, but is anybody doing anything fun this weekend? I am not. I mean, I really don't. We've been digging the backyard up, so we don't have that to do this weekend. Still haven't figured out what's wrong with the water pressure tank, though, so that's kind of a pain in the butt. Oh, shopping with your daughter sounds fun, though. That sounds fun. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Hi, Judy. Saturday, my husband and I are going. Oh, fun. That sounds fun. It's pretty, isn't it? Yes. So I'll just we'll probably, well, we don't have to vote on anything, so I'll finish up the walking dots and then we'll call it'll be an early night. And then, so this pattern here actually called for brush strokes. We can try and do that on Sunday, or we can come up with a different pattern. Just kind of depends. I don't always like following something exactly, but this pattern is really pretty. Like, it is very nice. I did like that one. That was fun. All right. Any questions? Are we good? Is anybody going to? Oh, The Sound of Music. Fun. Get caught up for Sunday. Yeah, I like these colors. No. So listen, I had never been to a Broadway show before, but I do have a friend that I met through Bear Camp. She is been an entertainer, a singer, actress, sorry. She's very good. So we went to Broadway and saw the Book of Mormons. Oh my gosh. And there were children in the audience. It was so inappropriate. It was so good. But I looked at her and I said, there are kids here. And she's like, I don't know what to tell you. We did that, got tipsy off them. Yeah, it'll be fun. You'll have fun. That was so Funny. What else did we see? Oh, we saw another one. Can't think of the name of it. Anyways, both of the ones she picked were good, so. All right, so I'm going to come in with the walking dot. No, I guess I'm going to need a bigger tool than that. I'm going to do the walking dots on this side. Again, not counting, really just bringing them through there. Not just to kind of add a little zip to the and yes, they're coming in on the orange. I don't care. I don't care. I kind of like that look sometimes. Cherry wine. Oh, cats. Piccadilly. 50K. Heck yeah. Look at you guys go. So my goal, though, is to come down here and right in there, but some of that brown is still a little wet, so I'm a little cautious of going exactly where I want. Thank you, Rhonda. Yeah, I mean it was, but see where I'm at, like we can take. Well, I did. I take the train into Manhattan. Actually, I went on the. This time I went on the Greyhound. Don't recommend. Ugh, I did not like that. But when I first started going to Manhattan from here, I could get on the train down in Philly, which I enjoy. Like I like taking the train. But now I'm so far away from there. I live out so far away. I mean, I could drive down south and I think get the train. But it's like hours. Like for that, I might as well just. But you don't want to drive into Manhattan. No, I don't. I don't want to drive there. It's craziness. My favorites are The Lion King. I'm sure if, I would have liked to have seen Wicked, but I was on a budget. She knew I was on a budget. So we did, I forget what it's called, but it's like discount. It's like a discount ticket thing. You wait in line and then you see what they have left. And then like she knows the theaters. So she knew like which seats would be best and stuff like that. I would have been like, I don't know. You just do whatever. And it was good going with somebody who like understands the theater too. But when I tell you that show was, and she told me normally, like the cast of these Broadway shows changes every so often. The cast from when she saw it first was like the same people in the cast, and she's like, that's unusual. Like that's not normal. That's how good they are. Where is Mars? I don't know. Pennsylvania is pretty big. I've heard of it though. Why? I'm in northeast Pennsylvania. I'm like north of Scranton by an hour. was a great. Oh my God, that's hilarious. Mars and Venus. They have cornhole golf. Well, they do have this saying here about Pennsylvania that a good portion of it is Pennsyltucky. So that sounds right. I never knew that. We have a rattlesnake roundup in Knoxon, where they literally go and round up rattlesnakes. It's like a thing that people do. We have a couple mountains here that are like notorious for like a lot of venomous snakes, but I don't participate in that. I had a friend that I bow hunt with. He was out hiking by himself, and he got bit by not a diamond. Oh God, what kind of rattlesnake was that? A timber rattler, and oh my God, that's hilarious, Lulu. So the town doesn't exist anymore. That's unusual, because like there are so many areas that like you literally drive through and you were in a town. Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that does happen here. That does happen. Actually, if anybody's familiar with like North Carolina, outside North Carolina, Lake Lure, where they had that bad flooding from that hurricane a couple of years ago now. I don't remember the name of the hurricane. Anyways, Lake Lure, there was a town there, and they flooded the town to make Lake Lure. Kind of crazy. Like there's like a town in the lake. Like on purpose. Okay. I only get over there a couple times a year. I volunteer for a special needs youth for hunting. So we go over there a couple times a year to do that. Otherwise, I don't get over that way. All right, so we finished a little early, which is unusual for us. But because there's really no point in me going and starting the next ring, because we won't be able to finish. But does anybody have any questions? You are very welcome. I'm glad you found us in our little neck of the woods over here, in this vastness they call the TikTok. But yeah, if you guys have any questions or anything, I really try to be responsive through Messenger or whatever. If I don't, like tomorrow, I won't have signal. The patient that I see tomorrow, they don't have Wi-Fi, and I have barely enough signal to chart while I'm there. It's annoying. So I have to bring a book. Oh my God. No social media scrolling for me tomorrow. Oh. But anyways, yeah, so Sunday night, if you guys know how to set your notifications, if you followed me and you joined the fan club, if you set notifications, you'll be notified. I usually get off and I set up the live for Sunday. And the only thing I've been asking, and I don't know if it's going to make any difference, is if you see the live pop up in one of like my posts, or you see it in my story, if you register, even if you can't make it, supposedly that pushes the room out more too. So we know we like new friends, so. Hi, Aurora Scott. You are very welcome. You are very welcome, Rhonda. Everybody, thank you so much for spending the night with us. And I will see you Sunday, again, 8 o'clock. I hope you all have a great... Yeah, me too, Cece. Yes, you all have a great weekend. I appreciate you all. And we'll finish this up. If you have any questions, like I said, between now and then, please don't hesitate to ask. Just, I'm one away from... I don't know what that means, Meg. But anyways, okay, I will see you all Sunday. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. And if you paint anything, and you want to share it with me or ask me questions, please share it to me. I love seeing what you guys do over the weekend. Thank you, Kara. So much fun. Oh, I'm going to fix that orange dot before I let this dot right there. Right there. Now it's gone. I don't see it anymore. All right, guys. I will see you Sunday. Take care.